Oh, hello, and welcome back to another day of trying to learn chess. Um, I I'm in 1164 right now, and I really want to get to 1200. So this is going to be a journey of me studying the O'kelly Sicilian, because I think I play better with the Sicilian defense than with e5. It's like a little more intuitive for me. Like I don't have to deal with all the crazy pins as much, and it's like I can just fight, which is nice because I like to fight. So that's the plan, and we're gonna go through and see if it's a useful tool for somebody else, and just kind of take this opportunity on a lovely Friday before I start a new job on Tuesday. Whoa, to improve our minds. So let's just get into it. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Okay, so I'm researching, right? I'm learning the O'Kelly, so let's click it. Let's click through it together. Um, it's a great variation of the Sicilian defense. Blah blah blah. It's like e4, and then we play the Sicilian, which is c5. Very common, popular. One of the most popular responses. You're fighting the center with this pawn. If the pawn comes, or if the this pawn comes, we take it, the queen comes out, we pressure the knight, and we get a tempo, which is really nice. We get a tempo with development. So that's the idea of the Sicilian, and normally, like, of course, white doesn't want that, so they normally will put, before they play this pawn, they'll put this knight here. And what this does is when they then play this move, if we don't develop appropriately, then, you know, oh, we're missing a pawn. Now if we take, then the knight takes, then, now you're basically in a Scotch type situation, but black keeps their center pawns. Another thing that can happen that's not good for us, we have like a c5, and then if they don't play it, right, maybe they play this, oops, maybe they play this, and then we put our knight here, then all of a sudden they can start to not pin, but like you don't have a way to defend this knight, so you're gonna damage your structure. One of these pawns has got to go, and so now you've got to get a little creative, and already it's getting weird, and so it would have been great if you already had this pawn here, wouldn't it? Well, that's the O'Kelly. So basically, we'll just take this back. The O'Kelly, e4, c5. Usually it's this knight comes down, and then we play this right away. So that's the idea. And so now we're stopping this bishop pin, so this can't be here. If this comes, we just take it. We just take it pretty easy. Maybe the knight comes, right? But now we can play this pawn move and start to bring out this bishop to do some things, and all these squares are pretty safe. So that's the idea, and then we usually castle kingside. This pawn. This pawn is like kind of the trouble. It's a sticky spot, so hopefully we'll learn about that today. Let's find out. Okay, so already we're learning something useful. How to check a chips and salts break. Very important to stay nutritionally inspired when you're playing chess. Okay, so we've just learned d4 is rarely played among highly rated players, but at the club level it's the most popular move. This is great. This is great. People aren't familiar with it, and we can use that to go up a little bit. And then, the goal of chess is just to play the best you can. So when you play better players, you get better and you enjoy the game more. That's the whole idea. So let's get there. 6. They play d4, so we play cd4 and d4. And then I think they said this knight. So apparently they play this, and then they play this other knight, and then we play e5. And now we got the center, and we got a tempo. That's pretty good. I kind of wonder what happens if, instead of playing this, let's use the computer. Let's use the power of the computer. What if this happens? So they don't want to push this pawn, because we take our queen out to a5, checking the king, and we bring it over, and we win the pawn. Okay, So we learned, oops, we learned another thing about Sicilians in general, especially the call variation, and I got a little pen tool, so now I can write on stuff. So basically, we play this pawn, threatening this knight, and the best square for the knight is to go right here, and then they can threaten this square. Yeah, so we play this pawn, this knight wants to go right here, but the idea is to go here, and to be defended by the queen as well, so it would be protected in this square. So the bishop would be blocked, and the knight here is just like, it's just too devastating. It's too stressful. So that's the idea, but kind of the cool thing about the O'Kelly is, after we play this e5 move, this guy has to go right back here, is the most common response. So then, with that in mind, we can put our bishop right there. And now our bishop's out and we're ready to castle. So it's kind of like a quicker, a little bit safer way to play the Sicilian. In some ways, there's a million Sicilians that I'm like learning, reading online. But this is good. This is a nice, I like this. I didn't even realize, or I just read about it. So there's also this knight comes down, we play e5, this guy comes over here, threatening this pawn, then we play our bishop, which is really cool. We pin, and then if they take the center with the bishop, then we can do this crazy move. This way, like, they can castle and avoid the danger, right? If they take, it's like, obviously, it's a very bad idea, because then we get a free piece, right? So that's not good. So that's like a nice trick we found already. If they played this bishop here, which is kind of cool. It looks like a really weird move. I don't think many people play it, but if they did, you've got a way to catch them. Okay, we're playing some 30-minute games just to like do our chess checklist, focus, practice some things, see what we learned, and I'll throw in the highlights. We try and get to 1200. We're using the Sicilian defense for black, and we're playing the Scotch for white. My name is wrong on here because I change my name all the time, so I'll change it when I can. My chess checklist. Okay, we got e4. And I'm trying something different this time. I've got a new idea as far as thinking about the game. I'm gonna try and think in different levels of complexity. So I've been noticing that I am losing sometimes the obvious moves. So sorry, my hair's weird. I'm trying to think about every time I move, what's obvious? What are some obvious things that are not obvious solutions, simple solutions, not all complicated? And I'll think about a complicated solution because I can't help it. I'm a complicated person. And then from there, we will then go back and try to find absurd solutions. Absurd solutions, absurd possibilities that look like they wouldn't work. We're going to go through every possible move for a solution to see, is there anything I'm missing? Man, it's taking forever. This is the hard part of 30-minute games. Because like I'll be playing, it's gotta be taking forever. I'm like, come on! And I'll lose. And you're just like, oh, it's a complicated opening. Let me take my time and think too. Be polite. Respect this guy's decision-making process. It's important. Very important. My board color. Ooh, that's kind of nice. Classic green. Alright, we're playing the Scotch. We're getting the good old Scotch game going. Classic. Lovely. I like this response. I usually just take the knight. Let's see, we take the knight. We force the queen to open. And then if they take with that one, if they take this one, then it's great. If he takes with this pawn, then I take the queen. And we lose castling rights. Winner take. What are some vulnerabilities? This is always... Oh, buddy. Definitely, always. If you can, we can take castling rights. That's sweet. Put this bishop here, threaten this pawn. If they move it, we can castle. And that's pretty good. That's nice. And then we can bring this rook out. Or we could play the check. We push the pawn. We come back. Now threatening this pawn. Threatening their backwards pawn. Threatening the backwards pawn. Let's give it a try. If they put the knight out, we'll take it. Easy peasy. Well, let's maybe castle queen side. Because then I could put this knight here. And then castle and get that rook right on that square. That would be sweet. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And then the bishop here would be pretty strong. Really strong. And then we could launch all these pawns. Since I can't castle, I think that would be good. Yep. Possibility for that. And we pause. Pause and think. Such an important step. Easy to forget to do it. Alright, so we got this bishop coming out. I'm thinking I want to put this knight here. And then after I castle with check, if this bishop takes this pawn, we push the pawn one, and he's stuck. So, and then we get a free bishop. So let's just get our knight out. Anything in danger? This pawn isn't defended. This push kind of is annoying. We could come back though, and then I like threatening that square. All right, let's give it a try. Okay, if they'll let me do it. I'll castle. Maybe their king goes here. Maybe they'll move it there first, but then I could push this pawn, right? Okay, so I gotta be careful of that pawn though, because after I castle, this one doesn't have a defender. So let's try and push this guy before we castle. Let's make sure we push that pawn. Let's remember that. I want to check, make sure our moves don't give us any weaknesses. But once it's safe, once this pawn's pushed, I can push this pawn. If he takes, I get this great square for the bishop, where I could like laser against this pawn and the rook. This looks pretty good at the moment. But I've just got to make sure I really take my time and keep thinking about every move and considering how could my opponent stop me. Something I sometimes do not think about, and it costs me. Like, I'm so excited about long castling right. If I do it with check, I can do that and then push this pawn and keep it protected. But if he moves his king, then I need to move this pawn first. So, I'm trying to stay focused. Okay, so already kind of a weird move here. This is nice, it defends the pawn. It gives this one away for free. But if this rook comes here, that'll be really annoying. I could just bring this bishop out. Man. I don't know if I can pass up a free pawn. That's really nice. Is there anything we better do first? We really want to protect this guy and claim the center. But he could take it back, you know? Could realize it and go back. So I don't think anything really vulnerable is exposed. This is all protected. If the rook comes, this becomes an excellent move. We come back. We push this guy. We push this guy. And then I can castle. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Already sweaty in here. Sweaty. In my heart. My heart is sweating. Is how I would describe this experience. So far, our gamble has gone well. We have successfully captured a pawn. +1. Let's go. Successfully captured a pawn, and then we protected our vulnerable pawn, maintaining our advantage, because it's hard enough to get an advantage. You obviously want to maintain it. And then as soon as possible I will castle because I never castle soon enough. It is one of my great and many weaknesses in the game of chess. Okay, so now we've really got to think. We've really got to think. We got this pawn move that happened. And this is putting a lot of pressure on the side I want to castle on. So I could do a couple things. I could push this pawn to meet it. And then, but then if they play here, I can't take it, right? So I could, if they take, I can come up with the rook, right? I could play this knight move, threaten the bishop. And then if they push the pawn, the bishop's free. Seems like a pretty good move. I like that. I like that a lot. I like it. I do want to block this pawn one way or another. Let's put the knight there. Is there anything that they can do that would stop this plan, that would hinder my plan? What could they play? But then my knight could come here. Okay, I think it looks good. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, I like this even more because look, we are also, there's now two defenders, two attackers on that piece, and there's only the rook can't defend because of the bishop. He can't defend here because of this bishop. We're winning another pawn, ladies and gentlemen. We're winning another pawn. Yeah, I'm excited about the next couple moves here. I'm also excited to see what they could be doing to throw all of my crazy plans out the window. Let's find out. Let's find out. This is good too, because if we take with the bishop, they take... Oh! What an interesting move. They're threatening that pawn to win the rook. It's defended by the knight, though. I wonder if they realize that. I wonder if they realize it. And now if I take this pawn, it's free and they can't push up on me. Right? Yes. I play here, the rook comes over, and then, well, if I do that, then I'll just take the bishop. So, yeah. I take here, the bishop takes, the knight takes, the rook comes over, and my knight can come back down. Alright. I think that's the move. Okay, it went as I thought it might. Whoa! Aggression! Aggression, my friend! Whoa. Okay. So, what's a good move here? What's a good move? Obviously, this is not good. We push up if we defend. Makes a lot of sense, actually. And we're blocking this pawn, and that's cool, and these squares are both really good for me. So let's push this pawn and then castle, yeah? Let's push this pawn. Pushing our pawn. And with the light squared bishop, and we have, look, all of our pawns. They're all on light squares, so I like that. I like it a lot. His rook and knight over here, so we'll probably definitely get a chance to castle here. It's kind of weird. I like to something to remember. Hey.
Are you making a video?
Yeah.
Did you pause it?
No. It's not live. I'll definitely edit this out. Maybe. Relationships. Okay. Just trying to stop me from castling. It's really rude. It's exceedingly rude. I'm gonna castle anyways, though. If I put my bishop here, I can castle either way. My friend disconnected. I don't know. Probably they'll auto-resign in a minute. This happens sometimes. I don't know the gender of this person, but there's a lot of games if I win a rapid game, or if I'm winning a rapid game, they will, it's like, I don't know, it's not super often, but it's fairly common. These guys will just like make me wait like 15 minutes, 20 minutes to get the victory, which is really annoying. One time it happened, I was playing on my phone. I was winning a game against a guy, and then he did that, and like I went off my phone screen for like like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, something like that, and cause I was waiting, I was trying to do something else, and then I like resigned automatically just like really annoying. I didn't think it would happen, so I learned, but it's just not cool. I've never had any female player that I could see from their profile picture. Obviously, you can't tell someone's gender by their picture, but yeah, it's been a lot. I've never had this problem with people who are presenting as female, so good job, team. Sky's limit chess. We did good. Let's take a cursory glance to see how we played. Just a quick, went up 7 points. I'm an 1171. I'm almost at 1200, man. If I get to 1200, I'm gonna buy myself a cake every time I get 100. Alright, we played with 96.1% accuracy. Are you kidding me? What? Ooh. Ooh. Oh my word. I played at a 1950 rating. Are you for real? Ooh. They played at 1400. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I think that's the highest rated I've ever played. We had no blunders, no misses, no mistakes, no inaccuracies. And only one good? Oh my god. That's so cool. Our friend had only 2 mistakes. No misses, no blunders, and no inaccuracies. Okay, this is pretty sweet. Castle. What could we have done instead of that? Here is better. Okay, let's see why. Because A5. This is really crazy that the computer can just read all this. It gives us a nice central square. Okay. Whereas, if we played here, we wouldn't have this square. We wouldn't have the ability to like add extra defense in front of the king. Okay, I read you. I read your computer. That's interesting. It wound up working out pretty well for us though. So that's our mistake. That's our best move. Cool. That's a fair move. We're defending our pawn. Always defend what you got, what you won. Always defend it. This was a mistake. And did we find it? We did find the best move. That's a great move. No way. We looked at a couple different options. We looked at pushing the pawn. We looked at potentially pushing the pawn. We looked at castling immediately. But this was great. This stopped this pawn from moving, threatened this one, and the bishop at the same time. And the bishop moves back, and then we take the pawn. Yeah. Redefend. It comes down. Defend again. Block castling. And get ready to castle. Okay. That was a solid game, guys. That was a good one. Thanks for playing. I'll maybe do another one tonight. I will add a little more spice. Hopefully we get black. We'll try the Sicilian.